Aloha everybody. People ask me a lot, how do I keep it fresh? I've been practicing yoga for over 3 decades and teaching for almost 2.5. And I'm having more fun. I feel like I'm loving it more than ever. It's actually not getting stale, it's quite the opposite. And a lot of what I need to do for my own self is be disciplined enough to make the time to keep things fresh. If I teach the same thing twice in a row and it's stale, some people like having a stick and they just keep repeating the same things. But I really got to try and challenge myself to make new playlists, make new flows, make a different approach to this class. And then it's exciting and fun. And we have a course coming up called Somatics and Sequencing. And we go deep, deep, deep into all this, how to teach with feeling and how to create sequences that feel good in bodies and minds. But I'll share a little bit right now. I have a class coming up this morning in Bali here. And where do I start? I start usually with the end in mind. So I think about the end. I have a sheet which we give you out in the course called the Blissology Yoga Class Planner. And I think about the end. And specifically, I think about the feelings that I want to leave people with. I do meditation every morning without fail. That's what I do when I wake up. I sit under the stars and do it. And I actually wrote a poem after today's meditation. And it's called Space and Sadness. And so actually I wanted people to feel at the end of today's class what we call savage bliss, which is that joy, pain cocktail. But also I want people to feel a deep sense of peace, so they recognize that it's okay to have pain. They're not alone with their pain. Pain is an invitation for more intimacy. That's the feeling I want to create. How much exercise versus relaxation? The level of this class is pretty high. So we always bring the intensity level up to about an 8. And I love teaching more advanced yoga poses. And so always the challenge is to make it accessible to people who aren't there to do the more accessible asana, because that's not really what the whole thing's about anyway. Anyway, there's a lot more to how to do that, but just as far as the process goes, I think about how I want people to leave feeling, and I build my class around that. Then I think about how I want the class to start. Specifically, I know that I want the energy to be calm and embodied at the start of practice. And then I need to build up the energy and wind it down into a nice sense of peace. So what I'm saying here is when I know what we call the energy arc of the class, the next thing that I do personally, I love music. Some people don't like music in yoga. I love it. Is right now I've dumped a bunch of songs on my Spotify playlist that I've been listening to over the week. I've roughly organized it in my practice yesterday. And I put a lot of effort into these playlists, but I create the playlists around the energy arc of the class that I have in mind in my formula. So, I feel, roughly start with the playlist and just listen. And I'll let 2 things, the music, the feeling, and the tightness in my body tell me what needs to get moved out. Okay, so I'm feeling that I like this song, but to be honest with you, I use it all the freaking time, so it's got to go. And I had another thing when I was doing my practice yesterday. I'm like, I want to make this a bit more tribal. I don't normally use a lot of drums, but I put a challenge to find more drum type music. So yeah, here's my friend Yotam. I'm gonna try a little bit different approach. Now I like this because it's really Indian. I don't know if you can hear the music. I breathe. That lower chakra is just telling me to move my hips around. Keeping my hands planted. And it feels good. Like what I'll actually do is try a few things out, and it's like rock climbing. You try one route and you're like, nope, that's not it. And you try another, and I'm like, just gentle movements feels pretty good here. I'll just keep playing with things. Test it out. You know, sample what I'm cooking. Does it feel good? Does it not feel good? What do I want people to feel here? I want them to feel their inner sense of wildness, but also calm. Savage bliss. We're getting fluid. Just channeling. Exhale. Right leg up. That's a bit more of the intensity level I'm looking for. Up. And fold. Join. Fold. Reach up. Okay, so that's a little bit into the process. As I'm going through this, I realized in the all levels thing that I got to make sure at the start of class when I show people this flow, I make sure I share this. So we reach up, arch back, fold. So again, people need to know how to modify if they're not feeling comfortable with the movement I'm suggesting. Chair, knees down. Now, camel. Where I think a lot of people are going to get challenged is this one. Just going to silence my friend Taz for a second. So I'm going to go back like this. It's a bit of a complicated movement. So all I want to do is just make sure I tell people if that's too hard for you, put your hands on the floor. Inhale up, step back. Okay, so I'm thinking of ways I can make sure that it feels good in all bodies and everyone has a safe place in today's movement practice. So I've got my class planner filled out. I'm going to do what I call class mapping. So first flow, I need to know what it is. Reach up.
Asia,